This hour of CBS Sports HQ brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. I'm Chris Hassel, joined by Amanda Guerra. And Manders, I think that this might be the most complete weekend of football in world history.
World history.
Because you've got the 12-team playoff coinciding with Saturday NFL games, okay? You've got a playoff game on Friday along with bowl games. You've got 3 college football playoff games on Saturday coinciding with 2 NFL games, and then a full Sunday of NFL. You got Monday NFL. And it all kicks off tonight in the NFL.
Yeah, you made that confusing for me in my head. I'm not up to speed yet. I've had half a cup of coffee, so we're going to revisit all of that coming up. But yes, look, we have a huge AFC West showdown tonight. Both teams, the Chargers and the Broncos, neck and neck for a wild card spot. Take a look at the AFC playoff picture where things stand right now. So the Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Texans, they have all clinched a spot, meaning only 3 remain, with the Ravens, the Broncos, and the Chargers in the hunt. The Chargers, by the way, last made the postseason in 2022. They have not gotten past the divisional round since 2007. But the good old Broncos, they have not been to the postseason since the year they won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning back in 2015, making it the second longest active playoff drought in NFL, with the Jets being second. And yeah, sorry, they're not going to make that. So let's bring in 2 of our favorites here. We have Bryant, McFadden, Emory, Hunt here. Let's see, B-Mac, I'm going to start with you. You just got your sweat sesh on. Just came back from the gym. What do you think about the Broncos in this position? All they need to do is win to clinch a postseason berth, and things are groovy from there.
I feel really, really good about the Broncos in this spot tonight. You look at this team, they're in the midst of a 4-game winning streak. And even a week ago, you didn't get your best performance out of your rookie quarterback in Bo Nix, but they still found the necessary plays to be able to win. I'm loving what I'm seeing from their defense. They're a very, very opportunistic group. They've done a great job in sacking opposing quarterbacks. But most importantly, they get the football in their hands. Amanda, Chris, Emory, they're trying to score touchdowns. They've shown the ability to do so. So you look at the Denver Broncos, they're playing some really, really good, inspired football in the more critical moments of the season. And if you look at the Los Angeles Chargers, this is a team, they're not looking like the same team we watched in the first month of the season. They've been dealing with some injuries, especially on the offensive side, and we're not seeing the efficiency, and the same can be said for their defense, and allowing some holes to surface, especially in the secondary. So I'm loving the Denver Broncos. I love what Sean Payton has built, and I do believe we will see a better performance from Bo Nix compared to what we did not see against the Colts.
What this year has shown us, guys, is the fact that, number one, it doesn't take long to turn a football team around at the NFL level. You're out there with a rookie quarterback who is playing up and down. If you look at Bo Nix in terms of, the first quarter of the season to the middle part of the season to where we are now, it has been a roller coaster, but for the most part, he's been solid. And if you're getting solid play from a guy in his first year in the NFL as a rookie quarterback, you're playing good football. And oh, by the way, they're not having the best year on the ground. They're not really running the football, so it has to be a lot of what Bo Nix has done throwing the football and also with his legs. And when you factor in what they've done on defense and how well they get after the quarterback, how well they make plays at the right time in ball games, they're closing out games rather well in the fourth quarter. It's no surprise that this team is on the plus side of the win column and find themselves on the cusp of getting to the postseason since, Amanda mentioned it, they won a Super Bowl back in 2015.
The Chargers are also in a great spot to make the postseason despite some struggles recently. If they win this game, they're going to be in. They might not clinch it this week, but they're likely going to get there. They can with some help. Justin Herbert in his 5th season now. They just haven't been able to reach the level that a lot of people want them to reach. And BMAC, against winning teams this season, they're just 1-5. What has held them back in these kinds of games?
They like playmakers, Chris. They like playmakers, especially on the offensive side. I mean, looking at when they were rolling and playing some of the more, successful football, it was coming through the running game with J.K. Dobbins. Not having J.K. Dobbins in the lineup has really hurt the offense, has really hurt Justin Herbert as well. You look at the 3 games, right, that we've watched from the Chargers, right? In those 3 games, they're 1-2. But in every game in that 3-game stretch, the offense has only scored 17 points. They scored 17 points when they beat Atlanta. And then the last 2 losses against Tampa, against Kansas City, the offense has only managed 17 points. And if you go back to the Atlanta win, They actually only scored 10 points offensively because, remember, Kirk Cousins threw a pick 6 to the Chargers. So it's something about the Chargers offensively. They've been a bit stagnant. They're not making plays. They're not sustaining drives. And most importantly, when they get into the red zone, they're settling for field goals. They lack playmakers. And unfortunately for the Chargers, the roster is the roster at this point. And to your point, when you look at their record, they've done enough to be able to get into the playoffs or have a great chance of getting to the playoffs, even if they lose. But this is a team they're currently limping at the wrong time of the season. And if they do get into the tournament, I do not expect to see a long extended stay.
It's great that we showed a graphic of how they are versus teams under 500, juxtaposed to how they are versus teams over 500. The great American poet Jadakiss once said, that's good, but it's not enough, right? And so it's showing you that they're doing a good job beating teams that they're supposed to beat, which is step one in their building process in year one of the Jim Harbaugh. But in order to beat those teams with winning records, B-Mac touched on it perfectly, you need playmakers on offense, and that's where they lack. But I like that they're building in the right direction. Right now, they're like Bambi. They're trying to struggle to find their footing. They're walking properly, but they're still kind of wobbling. But when they get a couple of playmakers on offense, i.e. in the passing game, that's when we'll see them stand on firm ground and be able to run full speed like they're doing against these teams that have losing records. So right now, they're wearing those hard bottom baby shoes, but once you put them in some 95 Air Max, they'll be off and running.
Emory, I thought you said ludicrous, but...
No, it's Jadakiss.
Yeah, Chris corrected me in the middle of that.
Real ones, no.
But Luda could be a great American poet as well.
I guess.
Yeah.
50-yard line of the Georgia Dome. At the 50-yard line of the Georgia Dome.
B-Mac agrees with me. Thank you, B-Mac. I'm going to start with you on this next question here. B-Mac, you mentioned that Bo Nix against the Colts didn't really play up to what we've been seeing from him this season so far, and it was really the Broncos defense that kind of saved him in this position. These are, including the Chargers, the top 2 scoring defenses in the league right now. B-Mac, do you see kind of an advantage for either side here? Who has the upper hand?
I see more of an advantage for Bo Nix. Number one, he has more playmakers surrounding him on his offense. The same can be said for Justin Herbert. Number two, the thing about Bo Nix, he still can give you running if need be. He can become a +1 in the running game, either with QB design running plays or just improvising on the fly. And those are the things that oftentimes can provide an issue for a defense like the Chargers. When you look at Justin Herbert, he can't run the football. And outside of Ladd McConkey, name me another pass catcher you actually trust. And Ladd McConkey is a rookie. He's still figuring things out on the fly as well. They lack playmakers. When you look at Bo Nix, I mean, you got Cam Sutton. You look at, even though the running game has been a big flux, they can kind of get things going from here or there, not to mention their great screen game. Their screen game might be the best in the National Football League. So I love, schematically speaking, I love the offensive mindset for Denver, right? I love the playmakers that are surrounding Bo Nix for Denver compared to what they do not have going with the Chargers. So I think both defenses will make plays, right? You have to understand that. But in terms of one offense having the advantage over the other said defense, I prefer Denver when you look at Sean Payton, when you look at Bo Nix. And like I said, the Chargers, their best playmaker probably is Ladd McConkey. That's not saying a lot in this type of setting in tonight's matchup.
Well, on its surface, I do feel like Denver does have the advantage. They're playing with house money. They have one of the more exciting young players in the game today on defense, and Nick Bonito. And when you look at what the Chargers can do offensively, you kind of want to go back to how they started this whole thing under Jim Harbaugh. You have him signing all of the offensive linemen and running backs coming from Baltimore in terms of Gus Edwards and also J.K. Dobbins in the draft. They draft Joe Alt. So what they should do in the red zone is probably try to run the football downhill. We saw Indianapolis have some success against this Broncos defense running the football, but can they stay committed to it? That's the biggest question. But to your point, B-Mac, having a +1 in a run game and Bo Nix kind of gives you the advantage because it's a broken play situation. He's proven to be one of the best broken play runners right now in the NFL this season as a rookie. So you have to give the edge to the Broncos defense because at the end of the day, Herbert has athleticism, but if he's afraid to use it, then it's all for naught.
It is time for X Factors. X, boom, 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 boom. X, you know what that is, right? It's Exhibit.
No, I don't know who Exhibit is.
What? No Jadakiss, no Exhibit.
I thought that was like Power Rangers.
X to the Z.
Is that not what
and we all in the family. Man,
She said she thought it was the
learn the
Power
game.
Rangers.
I mean, I know you're older than me.
Wait, B-Mac, is that not what the Power Rangers did?
Power Rangers were like, or is that Transformers?
Okay,
I don't know, but let's get to X
Make a list
Factors.
and I'll look up rappers that I missed growing up.
B-Mac as a true cover corner, he's looking right at a wide receiver tonight.
Oh, no question. When you talk about the Chargers trying to have success and win this ball game, they have to get something from their offense. No J.K. Dobbins. They've been a bit stagnant, as I mentioned. So the next best player in terms of being able to drive this offense is Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey has to be the X factor. He has to be able to be the lead catalyst for their passing game. He has to be the guy that can move the chains in critical third down situations. I love how they move him around the formation, and that's important when you're playing against a top cover guy in Pat Surtain Jr. You just don't want to allow Ladd to be outside as the X or the Z receiver. Move him around in the slot. They do that, and he has to be able to create separation to jumpstart their positive efforts on the offensive end, because I don't trust the Chargers are running the football. They haven't shown the ability to do so without J.K. Dobbins. And when Justin Herbert is targeting number 15, good things usually happen. You see it there. Most receiving yards among rookies. Ladd McConkey has quietly done a real good job orchestrated and being productive in a run-oriented offense. He has to be the X factor for the Chargers if they have any hopes of being successful on the offensive end.
I kind of name dropped him earlier, Nick Bonito, but this is why I feel like he's the X factor. I'll dive more into a film breakdown tonight on primetime pregame on CBS Sports HQ in a whole different outfit, so get ready for that. And also, when you look at what he does, he closes games rather well. A lot of his big plays come at the most crucial time in the fourth quarter. So if they can't block him, he's such an athlete, man. You talk about someone that can not only rush from with his hand in the dirt, but also from a stand-up edge rusher position. We've seen him drop back in coverage. We saw him last week versus Indianapolis, turn to Ed Reed and pick off a ball and go straight to the house with the football. He's done that multiple times this year. He almost had one, or he did have one against Jameis Winston. So here's the thing. If you are the Chargers and it's a crucial part in the ball game, whether it's third down, you're backed up, or if it's fourth down and fourth quarter, you got to go for points to either tie or win the game. Nick Bonito has quietly put himself in that defensive player of the year conversation. So the Chargers have to figure out where 15 is, not only early in the game, but in those most crucial parts of the ball game, because he is definitely the biggest playmaker on that side of the football for Denver outside of Pat Surtain.
You want to do the X one more time? Okay. On that note, we're going to get picks for this game here. Look, the Chargers are favored by about 2.5 points. They're playing at home. So this game's basically a pick 'em, guys. Emory, which way are you going in this one?
I like the under because you guys touched on it beautifully with the graphics and talking about the red zone defense. Both of these teams are excellent inside the red zone. So we'll see some tight defensive performances tonight in that regard. And plus, you're talking about both offenses that's probably going to be a little bit more conservative. You got a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix that's coming off not his best game against Indianapolis. They probably want to protect him a little bit more so he doesn't throw 4 interceptions this week because he threw 3 last week. And Herbert is just conservative by nature. So it's going to be a lot of field goals, and I feel like we'll see this one go under that total.
Hey, Emory, every weekend when we work together, right, I usually say Mike Tomlin emphasizes in December football, teams are doing one of 2 things. Do you remember what they are?
I do not.
See,
Love the
that's
honesty.
how you miss your blessing. That's exactly how you miss your blessing. You're not paying attention to greatness. In December football, Mike Tomlin emphasized teams are either thriving or surviving. In this matchup, when you look at the Denver Broncos, they've been thriving. They've been finding ways to make plays. It seems like the Chargers, they're surviving. They're barely getting through. Offensively, in the last 3 games, I gave you the numbers. They're averaging 17 points. Even in the win against the Atlanta Falcons, they only scored 17 points. Last week, with Bo Nix throwing the football to the wrong color, they still won convincingly. I'm taking the Denver Broncos because they've shown the ability to thrive. And survival in the month of December will not get you to the winning window. So give me the Denver Broncos. They're the more thriving team in this matchup. They're playing really, really inspired football. And the last nugget in terms of why I believe the Denver Broncos will win, remember the Chargers won the first meeting. The last time the Chargers swept the Denver Broncos, 2010. 2010. I just graduated from Florida State in 2010. It was a long time ago. Actually, I'm joking. I didn't graduate from Florida State in 2010. I kind of looked like I did, but I didn't. So I just wanted to make sure you guys were paying attention to
That
it.
Beijing.
That's all.
Yeah, what was BMAC, like 03?
I just want to make sure you paid attention to me.
04, something like that. BMAC thriving, Emory just surviving at this point.
That's not true. Emory's always, these two out of all of our analysts thrive the most.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Everyone else is a hot mess.
Okay.
Hey,
Mackenzie
Amanda.
Brooks is right over here. We'll
Power
make sure
Rangers.
X.
Power Rangers.
Boom, 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 boom. X. Hey, I have a bone to pick with you, Amanda. On the,
I love it.
On the AFC playoff picture. You said the Broncos and Chargers are neck and neck. They're really like neck and nose. Broncos have a game lead on the Chargers in the wild card. Now, if the Chargers win tonight,
neck and nose.
well, neck and neck means they're tied.
Okay, they're very close. They're a game apart.
They'll be tied if the Chargers
really
win
annoying.
tonight.
Okay, I have a bone to pick with you as we go to this break.
Yeah.
And we roll the commercial, or about to. Have you done all of your holiday shopping?
Yes.
Did you spend a lot of money?
No.
Oh, well then, I was going to say we could replenish it because we're going to get winning bets from Mackenzie Brooks is next, but you're cheap.